Alphonse Bacco's son and Joseph Redicon's son. These young men are going to read the names on the wall. So this is going to take about 10-15 minutes, so bear with us. Thank you.
Pat Aielli, New York City Department of Education, Human Resources, Civil Service Division. Geraldine Carrasco, Port Authority Risk Management Team. Michael Murillo, Operation Engineer, Local 15. Sergeant Paul Ferrara, NYPD. Marty Cervilloni, DDC. Theodore Frank, DDC. Francis Connors, DDC. Firefighter Willie T. Franklin, FDNY. Battalion Chief Richard D. Arizosa, FDNY. Supervising Fire Marshal Emil K. Harnischfager, Bureau of Fire Investigation. Police Officer Michael G. Flaherty, NYPD. Detective Bill Halas, NYPD. Jeffrey J. Harry, New York City Senior Court Officer. Second Lieutenant William J. Ferrangi, U.S. Army. Robert Taylor, Local 14. Lieutenant Michael J. Visecci, FDNY. Firefighter Dan Hegland, FDNY. Captain Mark Summers, New York Waterways. Corrections Officer Joseph Rodriguez, New York City DOC, ESU. Lieutenant Jack Gremsey, FDNY. Firefighter Robert Lieber, FDNY. Supervisor Ralph Marchisi, NYC DOS. Supervisor George Colucci, New York City DOS. Supervisor Frank Feeney, New York City DOS. Superintendent Marcellus Clark, NYC DOS. Sanitation Worker Andrew Macchio, New York City DOS. Sanitation Worker Eloy Pagan Jr., New York City DOS. Sanitation Worker Michael Mooten, New York City DOS. Sanitation Worker Mark Balaha, New York City DOS. Sanitation Worker Alexis Solomon, New York City DOS. Sanitation Worker Rosalino Fanara, New York City DOS. Lorenzo Morelli, New York City DOS Supportive Services, EMA. Corrections Officer Antonio Clark, New York City DOC, ESU.
Charles H. Perez, Volunteer. Corrections Officer Jeffrey Taylor, NYC DOC, ESU. Corrections Officer Michael Muzio, NYC DOC, ESU. Corrections Officer Antolino Riak, NYC DOC. Police Officer Patrick A. Ersky, PAPD, ESU. Sergeant Steven Scalza, NYPD. Firefighter Cornell Horn, FDNY. Detective Richard H. 210, NYPD. Brian G. Campbell, NYC DOS. Detective Luis Fernandez, NYPD ESU. Mitchell Rende, HVAC Local 94. Firefighter Ralph W. Guidel, FDNY. John R. Wrigley, Con Ed Local 12 UWUA. EMS Lieutenant Tommy Giamarino, FDNY. Inspector James Guida, NYPD. Eric J. Hendrickson, volunteer. Sergeant Lawrence A. Guarnieri, PAPD. Detective Andrew Apas, NYPD. Firefighter Pat Finnegan, FDNY. Firefighter Gerard Walsh, FDNY. Police Officer John Cortazzo, PAPD. Firefighter Eugene McCary, FDNY. Brian R. Padell, NYC DOS. Ronald Cohen, NYC DOS Mayor's Task Force. Steve Napolitano, General Manager, GW Bridge, Fort Lee, VFD. Police Officer Sean Mahoney, NYPD. Richard Danino, NYC DOS. Lieutenant Robert J. O'Rourke, FDNY. Firefighter Richard Nogan, FDNY. Corrections Officer Larry Adler, NYC DOC ESU. Captain Scott Stelmach, NYPD. Supervisor John C. Peters, DOT. Supervisor Peter B. Bliss, Structural Engineer, Parsons Brinkerhoff. Firefighter Charles Jones, FDNY.
Detective Aslan Beckles, NYPD. Police Officer Otto Espinoza, NYPD. Captain Joseph Maurer, FDNY. Deputy Chief Steve Bonanno, NYPD. Francis Carroza, Longshoreman, Local 920. Battalion Chief John J. Cassidy, FDNY. Lieutenant Theodore Leo Eusakis, SCOA. Maribel Torres, volunteer. Nicholas D. Arico, sound engineer, NBC News. John Dong, Verizon Local 1109. Firefighter Kevin T. Murphy, FDNY. Glenn Scott, Local 197. Patrol Officer James Cologne, Englewood Cliffs PD. Firefighter Luis Fragoso, FDNY. Police Officer Paul W. Vatter, NCPD. Thomas Loback, volunteer. Special Agent Bill Sheldon, ATF. Juan X. Zarita, construction. Captain John Graziano, FDNY. John Fitzpatrick, Local 638. Antonio Hernandez, IBEW Local 3. Firefighter Robert J. Langer, Westbury Fire Department. Kenneth M. Walsh, volunteer. NYS Trooper Covell Pierce. Alan A. Harrington, Ironworker, Local 40. Sergeant John DeMarco, NYPD. Detective Kenneth Lutz, NYPD. Detective Harry Hill, NYPD. Police Officer Robert W. Kaminsky, NYPD. Dennis Moran, Electrician, Local 3. O.J. Ferguson, DOT.
My dad and hero, Detective NYPD, Joe Redigan.
My dad, sanitation worker Alphonse Falco.
My friend, Lieutenant Howard Bischoff, FDMI.